Give us your reaction to the passing of your governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, SAN.
Well, as a human being, I send my condolences to the family. And there's nothing too shocking about it because we knew that this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. And it's sad that his family and some politicians did this to him. There was no basis for bringing him from Germany to Nigeria, only for politics. And that must have hastened his demise. But regardless, cancer is not something you wish on anybody, especially when it reaches terminal stages. It was just a matter of time. As a matter of fact, from what I heard and I knew, which I told you the last time we spoke here, he was given up to May 2023, but he survived a bit longer. Probably would have, stayed longer if his wife had not forced him to come back to try and use his presence to impeach his deputy, who today is the governor of the state. So we did our part, and it's up to the new substantive governor to do his part. If you ask me, do I have any special hope that something would happen differently? I don't think so. This is a period of political transition. So what you see more of is the new substantive governor trying to become a governor and his opponents doing everything to sabotage him. So there'll be a lot of distractions.
Omoyele, how do you remember Rotimi Akeredolu?
Honestly, I told you last time, and I'll say it again, I never paid too much attention to this state, even though it was my state, for the big picture. So I was focused on how to liberate our country, Nigeria. But so what I remember of him is this last part, and I think whatever his legacies might have been, which I don't see much on the ground, this is what came to define him, the guy who was dying but, clung to power.
Are you not being too hard? Are you not being too hard on him? I mean, before he left,
I thought you were asking for my opinion, not, you're not asking for me to sympathize.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just asking
every day
if you're not being too hard on him.
And nobody even thinks about them. We just lost some 150 people in Plateau State. We don't even know their names. So nobody's special in my eyes. Nobody deserves to die any tragic or untimely death. So I'm just giving you my opinion about what I know about him and the part that I played in it. I'm currently in Ondo State. I don't see any highways. I personally help place teachers in some secondary schools in Ondo State. I help fix secondary school classroom in my hometown. This shouldn't have happened, especially considering that we could have resolved this a year ago, give a clear path to transition and allow some kind of attention to issues of development in the state. So the fact that somebody dies doesn't mean that we should not talk about how the living will progress. He's dead. He doesn't see us anymore. He doesn't care about us. There's nothing we say here that will affect him.
Okay, so there is a school of thought, that says he will remember. He left a legacy with his rise to become a senior advocate of Nigeria. He also played a part in the Nigerian political scene, where for the first time you had a ruling political party being defeated. He was part of the APC. And then also as governor, one of his legacies people have talked about is his role in the emergence of Omoteku, which seems to have brought some calm in terms of security, banditry, headsmen activities. That's the bad headsmen-farmer clashes, if you want to call it that, that Omoteku really came to bring a relative peace to the Southwest. What's your take on that?
Like I said, I look at the big picture. I don't look at small things. I don't look at symbolism. He's done his part, and he's died. And there's no reason for me to try to play down what people believe to be his legacy. I'm just speaking to you directly from my heart. And I said, I judge him, I judge his political party, I judge their conduct and character. And they don't meet up to my own standard. And nothing says I can't speak my mind simply because someone died. Akeredolu, being who he was before he died, would have said what he felt when former President Yaradua was sick and they were playing the same game with Nigeria. He spoke out. As a matter of fact, I think I said it on the show. If not, I said it somewhere where he returned from vacation, his medical vacation, and he was told clearly that this was going to be terminal. He told his family to take him to his hometown so that he could die peacefully there, but of course he refused because
I said the family refused to take him there?
Life.
Okay, you said the family refused him to take him to his hometown.
Yes, when he came back from this last vacation, from what I learned from family sources, he requested that he doesn't want to go anywhere anymore because he was told clearly in a German hospital in Berlin that he can't make it. And he wanted to go back to his hometown and he just died there. But I heard his wife and his son and some members of his political family refused. He said because they needed to use his presence to impeach his deputy and put someone that's malleable and that can do their bidding. That's part of what I'm talking about. This ought not have happened at all. This is dragged on for too long. If there was any part of a period that he was mentally aware, physically aware, and he didn't step his foot on the ground, I think that was a flaw on his part. But we're not, it's too late now. We can't be blaming him. But I'm just telling you contextually and analytically how I see things in this state.
All right. I don't know if we can say categorically that his wife, his son, his family, and those in his inner circle didn't take him to a war to allow him live out his last days as he wished because they wanted to, use him for political gain. Yeah, sure. I'm coming, please. I'm so sorry. I had a reason to take care of an aged father for quite some time, And I know sometimes when he says, I just want to go home and die, I will hope against hope that to keep him alive and do everything that I needed to do to keep Mr. Bartels alive, because I felt he had lost hope, but I still had hope that he could make it through, pull through, So I know you understand, that family members, loved ones, may want to do everything.
I understand. I understand that you're playing the devil's advocate here.
No, not devil's advocate. I'm just bringing another possibility.
Too many advocates already. You don't have. What I'm saying here is what I know. There's nothing, and you can go back and watch all my position on this on no matter since it started that I started speaking with you directly. There's nothing I told you that is not true. I was the first person to tell you on this show that he's had cancer and that he can't stand up, he can't walk, he can't control himself, he cannot do anything. I said that barely a week ago, if you recall.
Yeah.
And this a week later, the person I told you precisely couldn't do anything and I was brain dead, has died completely now. They were just keeping him up. I think they put him on a life, they put him on life support for a while. And, when they took him to to Germany, the initial hospital that treated him in Berlin rejected him. They had to fly him to Hanover, where, they just accepted him grudgingly. Nobody's even sure if he went in there dead and they were just hiding his body. What happened in that Akeredolu's case, if we're to be in a serious country, there will be investigations because there are allegations of forgery. If this happened in the US, you will see family members facing attempted murder charges. And I'm serious, I'm not joking. You can't do this to someone and not answer for your crimes just because you feel like you can milk his vulnerable condition. And nobody's talking about it. Everybody wants to say, oh, rest in peace. This man can't find peace because he was not allowed to even live in peace towards the most vulnerable period of his life. I don't think if there's life after death, Akeredolu will be happy with the way he was treated by members of his family and close political associates.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
No, we never find out.
Yeah, you say you have reports. Yeah.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Let me tell you this. Till today, do you know that Nigerians don't know what killed Yaradua? None. And this was a contest political period. It almost broke this country. But because we have very low memory, we're people who are quick to forget. We don't take anything serious. We just like to move on. Nobody till today has seen the medical report of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Nobody knew the hospital where he was treated in Germany. Nobody can tell you except a few people.
In Saudi
But
Arabia.
if this was in the US, there would be an inquiry. There will be a commission of inquiry so that this will not repeat itself.
Okay.
And it is because we didn't treat the Yar'Adua case seriously that somebody could have done this with Ondo State. And who knows what they would do again.
Yes, sure. But what I'm saying is your information, and you used the word incapacitated last time that you were on this program, and
Yes.
I did ask you, what's the source of information? I tried to probe. You're saying that, I mean, maybe you were right, because, I mean, it's just some days after.
It's not that maybe. I was completely right. I was 100% right.
But I mean, you said he was at a point of death, and he's died. So it's turning towards, what you said. But on the part of the family, on the part of the wife, on the part of Akeredolu's son, can we say that they did not love their father enough to want to do everything to keep him alive? Because if you're saying that they could be tried for culpable homicide if it was in the US, but the man was already told to go home and die. So it was already a fait accompli. It was already a fait accompli.
If he was asked to go and die, right?
So how can you accuse them of killing somebody who was already dying? Yeah.
You see, somebody could be in coma. Can you listen to me, please? 1 second. Somebody could be in coma in a hospital and has a date of death. Say he's going to die, next month. If a nurse goes in there to pull the plug without being asked to do so, without the permission of the family, that nurse will face culpable homicide charges. Do you know that?
Okay.
You know that, right?
I'm listening.
You can't just kill somebody. But if you kill somebody through negligence or through, very intentional harm, you could also face charges. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he didn't know he would die, but they didn't have to kill him. They didn't have to treat him in a manner that is so negligent that he died suddenly, or the manner he died. So that's what I mean. That's somebody could want to kill himself. You can go commit suicide. If you fail, you also face charges. You know that? You can want to try to commit suicide. If you don't kill yourself in the course of committing suicide, you face charges. You know that, right?
All right. Let's do the personal side of it.
We'll come back. Simply because they determined that he might die. You can't do that. You can't do anything to hasten the death of anybody through negligence or through any intentional acts and get away with it. Right. Let's learn that today.
All right. We wait to hear, get some more information on the, circumstances of his death.
The sad part is that we may never get any information. This is how we move on in Nigeria. Nobody's going to tell you, because the next set of people they will, instead of learning how to prevent this, they'll go and learn how, Akeredolu's family and his people got away with it, so that they can do it when it's their turn too. That's why Nigeria is the way it is.
The circumstances surrounding his death and the refusal of the governor to resign, and we had a whole drama with his signature. You had contracts being approved, government documents being signed. You want all that to be investigated. Who should undertake that investigation?
Sorry, I don't have much expectations, and I'm sorry to say this, because even our little experience coming to the state shows that, the new governor, the substantive governor now is probably a low-budget Akeredolu as well. I even heard today that he was not aware that the governor died until he read in media. He was in Igbokoda, and then he was told the letter that was written to President Tinubu was written by, Akeredolu's wife and a cabal. You know that as of 4 days ago, his wife was in a state meeting with some state legislators. And you ask yourself, under, what authority would she be meeting with officials of the state? Your husband is in hospital in Germany, you are here meeting with state. And they were bragging at that meeting that, he will soon be back, him and the speaker. That's why I said, these guys are a joke. These legislators in the state, and probably across the country anyways. And then yesterday, she was on social media fighting over, some concrete divider in Akure. Why did they demolish it? And all that. These people are bush people. Your husband, that's part of the reason why I think this woman should be investigated. I'm sorry to say. Maybe there's something she knows that the rest of us don't know,
Right.
regarding the condition of her husband and what it meant to her. If anybody has to be empathic, I think it's his wife. And I'm not saying things I don't know. I'm talking about things she's doing publicly. Very embarrassing. I'm talking about yesterday. She was still fighting over some issues, some irrelevant issues in the state, at the state capital. And her husband was there in coma, dying, and probably they were looking for her to ask permission to pull the plug. She could care. She couldn't care less.